Kan jij nog mitmachen?
Fifth race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. We're in Lillehammer in Norway, 2 hours north of the capital Oslo, in the mountains that hosted the 1994 Winter Olympic Games. And here at Hunderfoss, we are in the Olympic Sliding Centre. Welcome back, everybody, to our coverage of this first World Cup weekend here in over 20 years. Martin Haven and Jasmine Jones from the USA watching the women's bobsleigh action, and as well as dramas in the first heat, we've got a very tight lead group. 1400ths of a second cover the top three. Lisa Buchwitz in third, 100th ahead of teammate Lara Nolter, who is the world champion and was the Olympic champion and was also the youth Olympic champion on this track. But a 10th ahead of Buchwitz, Keisha Love, with Azaria Hill behind her. Keisha, the gold medalist yesterday, a runaway victory in Monobob, and she is driving the two-seat sled just as sweetly. Well, the track records have been tumbling, and the woman who ended up with the final shout in the first heat is Germany's Kim Kilicki with Leonie Fiebig. They are reigning world champions in women's bobsleigh, but Kilicki nursing a calf injury, and that looked like it was still paining her as she got out of the sled. They lead after the first heat, but Kilicki limping away in some discomfort. And we talked about this in the first heat, Jasmine. Sometimes you've got to listen to your body, no matter what the competition schedule says. And I'm sure Kim will go in the second heat and try and win this, but you know, in less than a month, she's going to be trying to win the World Championships in Germany, and that's got to be the focus of the season, not whether she competes next week in Sigulda or in a couple of weeks in Altenburg.
Exactly. Looking forward to that World Championship, especially at their home track. Need to make sure you're staying healthy and just preparing for that moment.
Well, Keisha Love, what a weekend she's having. That extra week here, a bit of training, getting in that run repetition. I mean, when you're a push athlete and you're learning the trade, the more push starts you can do, especially now in the ice house in Lake Placid, the better rehearsed you are, the more natural it feels. Can you imagine what it's like being a driver where you've got to do like 6 or 8 runs in a weekend and then go away and not come back for another year?
I can only imagine, especially for drivers. So much credit to them, because right when you're traveling and get to the track, bam, you're on. And amount of runs you can get 4 or 3 a day, and just knowing that and mentally preparing for, you know, the race, it just takes a lot, especially a mental toll as well.
Yeah. Imagine if you said to an NFL quarterback, right, you're going to have 6 snaps in practice, and then we're going to come back and we won't do anything again until next year. Okay, how's that going to work? What do you know? There's going to be balls flying everywhere. All right, now then, our second heat sees our 16 sleds go down in reverse order their first heat performance. So Bianca Ribbi and Eve Hockey are on the start list. They crashed in the first heat, but are getting ready to go. And then they'll be followed out by Nikki McSweeney, Margot Bock, Linda Wyszewski, and so on down to the final sled. Race 5-4 of the BMW IBSF 4-man bobsleigh week, 2-man women's bobsleigh weekend. I'm getting ahead of myself. Bianca Ribby and Niamh Hockey crash in the first heat, low down in the track. They are ready to go in the second heat. 5:45 getaway, exactly the same as in their first start. And Jasmine, again, we talked about this after their crash. The first thing you want to do is get back to the top, go again, just prove that you can master this track. Exactly.
And just having that adrenaline and keeping it going, definitely have things to prove that you can do this, and I have total faith in Ribby that she knows what she's capable of.
All right, nice and smooth so far. And a nice clean exit out of 13. There you go, making no mistakes. Down into 15 and final corner 16 across the line. And a 52.50. And again, that will have been just for confidence, not wildly about getting the fastest possible time out of the sled, but getting themselves down and not leaving Lillehammer with the noise of a crash in her ears. So. And again, as an athlete, you put so much trust in your driver as well as, you know, as yourself to perform. But, you know, your life when you're in the back of the sled is in their hands. Oh,
it definitely is, especially just giving them a good push, a fast push. Is if it happens to crash, you're going to crash fast. You don't want to crash slow.
If you're going to crash, crash ugly. There you go. There you go. There we go. There's 13 into 14. That's a nice smooth line. Niamh Hockey not getting bumped about. Okay, Ribby. Well, it was her birthday this weekend. This is a birthday weekend she will definitely remember for some good, some bads. There's Yuki the Bear, Yokohama, one of the funding sponsors of Nikki McSweeney from Great Britain, with Willa Gibb behind her. Willa making her World Cup debut, was brought into the GB fold in a talent ID program in the summer of 2022. So this is the second year she's been sliding on ice. She's got a handful of races under her belt. Same with Nikki McSweeney. This is Nikki's third World Cup start as a driver. She made 5 World Cups as a brakewoman, 2 World Championship starts as well as a brakewoman. There you go. 5:59. She started 5:58 in the first heat.
Definitely look forward to this first GB sled and see what they can do, especially with this being her pilot season and how many World Cups she's been doing so far.
Yep. Did one last year in Innsbruck. She raced in Innsbruck earlier this season. This is her third World Cup race, her third different sled of the season. She's been doing Europe Cup races as well. This is one she's rented from the Swiss. Nice looking line so far, nice and smooth. I think everybody's just adapted a little bit to how quick the track was this morning. 7600s up. Our first heat was a 52.66, little rattle there at the bottom. This is looking nice. Little late flop as well off 15. 52.82, so not quite as quick as her first run down.
Definitely goes to show how that quick turnaround of knowing the track after that first heat, just knowing like, all right, this is what I need to improve on.
Yeah, and you've got to adjust for the speed of the track. Steering just a little bit earlier into the corners than perhaps you might have done in the final day of training or in the Monobob yesterday. Nikki didn't race in the Mono, but most of the athletes did. Not too bad out of 13. She didn't get a square tap, so it sent her early into 14. Yeah.
A little slight air.
Ooh, yeah. Willa Gibb flying in the back of the sled. Again, little late flop and a tap here, 15 into 16, 14 into 15 rather. All right, little better. So there's Nikki on the right, Willa Gibb. They move into the leaders box. Next up for France, Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal. Started their bobsledding journey together 4 seasons ago now.
It's always nice when you ever have that duo that you know and can push very well together with the timing.
Yeah. 5.50, a couple of hundreds quicker than their first heat. They were only 600s in front of Great Britain's Nikki McSweeney, and they were tied with Poland's Linda Wieszewski. So there's 3 sleds covered by 600ths of a second. Don't expect them to finish in exactly the same positions. 2,500s up for the French duo.
Definitely looking forward to getting to know Margot even better, because watching her drive and just seeing this France sled is amazing to watch.
Yeah, she's got good lines. 120.9, better speed than Bianca Ribby. Oh, and a big hit off 13 is going to rob some of that speed. Watch that gap come down. She still has the top speed. Across the line, didn't come down as much as I thought, out to 4/10 up. So Nikki McSweeney on the right and Willa Gibb on the left leave the leaders box 52.48. Well, that is quicker than their first heat, 52.60. And if they'd set that time, they would have been a couple of spots further up in the first heat.
Let's see what's going on.
Well, this is into 13 sled going right as the track goes left. That means a really severe transition as you get onto the corner. And then she was late on, late off as well. This is that exit of 13. Big flop and a big impact on the wall. She actually came off pretty straight, but a little too far to the right into 14.
Exactly, but still had a lot of good speed, especially coming from up top, that even though that slight flop didn't set her back too much.
Well, they were tied to the 100 with our Polish duo, Linda Wierzchewski and Marika Zandeka. So let's see who comes out on top here. Always entertaining to see a dead heat, because it rarely ends up as a dead heat at the bottom of the track. Not never, just not often. This track's been really impressive for how few hundreds of a second there are between most of the sleds. It's super tight racing. There are a lot of change-ups in both races yesterday and in the skeleton races on Friday. So Linda Wierzchewski drops in with a 5.53. So just 300ths of a deficit at the start to Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal.
They definitely had a lot of power behind that second heat. 5.53, that's a really good drop.
This is a nice early part of the track. Not too much of a wave in corner 6, smoothly into 7. This long labyrinth, big skid, 8 to 9 and 9 to 10. And that is going to really damage their speed. When you put ski sideways, you do it to brake. When you put ice skate sideways, you do it to brake. If you throw a motorcycle or a car sideways, you do it to scrub off speed. It does exactly the same in a bobsled. Speed is not there. The gap's gone from 300ths to over 4/10 at the line, 52.94, and they dropped 2 spots behind Nikki McSweeney and Willa Gibb.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a little tough transitions and those skidding and everything.
Yeah. We saw when she was driving the mono yesterday that she had trouble, the back end moving around a lot more than most of her rivals. And here again, you can see she's leading the front of the sled with the steering, but the back is just walking around behind her.
Yeah.
And it, part of that is a factor of not having the steers in quite the right place. Part of it may be runner setup.
Thanks, was nice though.
Yeah, got her nicely onto 14 as well, which limits the damage. But Linda Wierzchewski drops a couple of spots and looking a little bit disappointed with that. So Margot Bock is our leader, 4 down. And this is now Great Britain's second sled. Adele Nicol with Kia Placide. Kia making her World Cup, beg your pardon, Adele making her World Cup debut as a driver. Kia in her second as a push athlete. She started in Innsbruck behind Nikki McSweeney. And another young athlete, Kia, just 19 years of age from Cardiff in Wales.
She's pushing that thing.
Yeah, she's a sprinter, came from gymnastics and sprinting. 5.50, equal fastest start. Beg your pardon, no, Bianca Ribby was faster, 5.45. So 1600's the advantage over Margot Bock as they sit down.
Right, Adele's looking really good so far.
A little bit of a skid onto 10. 800's up. The gap's come down from 16 at the start. Better speed, though, at the bottom. The Margot Bock needs to be clean. Gets a long skid down into the bottom corners. Still has decent speed and a tiny margin. Going to be very close to the 100th. Ooh. No, a 10th of the front. She just crept away. 52.54. She will be no worse than 12th place. She was in a dead heat for 11th with Andreea Grecu of Romania.
Definitely getting underneath that cowling, crossing that finish line adds a little bit more.
Yeah.
bloodshed that time.
It's worth 100, and that can make the difference in breaking a tie. So Adele Nicol from North Wales, Kia Placide from South Wales. Just a little drift in there as well, just get tapped away into 14. And this is the exit of 13, so that the back end comes out. And the next corner, you're trying to turn the sled into the right. So, yay, bit of air time. All right, Adele Nicol will be joining me to talk our way through the 4-man this afternoon. Might need to get some beta blockers for that, I think. Andrea Grecu and Teodora Vlad next for Romania. And they were tied, as I said, to the 100th of a second with Adele and Kia after the first heat. So this is make or break for both teams to grab that 11th place finish, 5:56. Right, so they start 600 slower than the Welsh-British team.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to see how they break that first heat tie.
Well, whatever else happens, Adele will post a personal best as a women's bobsleigh driver in her first World Cup, whatever position it is. At the moment, it's guaranteed to be top 12. Let's see if she can edge closer to the top 10. Grecu's still in the red. The gap's growing. So what we saw in the first heat, the Romanian sled not holding its speed. Long skid into 14. Second best speed. She's not going to catch the British sled at the line. Andrea Grecu drops 2 spots. So she drops behind Adele Nicol and Margot Bock. So Adele on the right, Kia on the left. Hang out in the leader's box for another couple of minutes. Somebody find them some jackets. It's not that warm outside. Still about -2, -3.
Yeah, a little bit of a tough second heat run.
She was really back on form, I thought, yesterday. Much more like the old Andrea Grecu in the Monobob. Tied the fastest start and had a pretty decent drive. But here, the speed just getting away. And again, the back of the sled getting away from her.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that transition from Monobob to the 2-woman.
Yeah. Well, she heads back to, everybody heads to Sigulda next week. That's where she had her best ever World Cup result in women's bobsleigh. A silver medal there, European silver medalist a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago now. And it's Europeans next weekend. Adele Nicol leads after the first 6 sleds.
That ski, I never went skiing before.
I never went skiing before, that's why I've still got 2 knees. There's your leaders on the right-hand side, Adele Nicol, Kia Placide on the left-hand side. And Kia's got twice as many women's bobsleigh World Cup starts as Adele Nicol, 2 compared to 1. And there, Bianca Ribby on the left, Niamh Hockey on the right.
Hey,
Yeah,
they call it ribeye.
Yeah, back to their traditional bubbly best. We stay in the same hotel as the Canadian team in St. Moritz, and always fun to see them in the morning at breakfast, bouncing off the walls.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely one of my favorites, especially when we play cards, we play Dutch Blitz. And
Okay.
you think Cynthia's competitive in sled, she's competitive in cards.
Is there money?
No.
Oh.
I'm not losing no money.
That's a yes, everybody. Yeah, there's the hotel where we're staying, where Jasmine and the rest of the US team is staying. There's a big bunch of kids from the Norwegian Youth Ski Academy, about 40 of them. And they're in every evening watching video. I mean, you can relate to that, can't you? They're all sitting there. They do all 3 disciplines every day. They're doing downhill, they're doing Super G and slalom. And I'm sure you just saw some of them there. You saw the blue paint on the piste where they were doing Super G a couple of days ago. So they were in our hotel this morning again at breakfast, 6:30, up before dark, home after dark.
Too much.
Yeah, winter sport. Well, days are a little shorter here. We're kind of north. So, yeah, days are just a little shorter than we're used to in other parts of Europe. It's a fabulous venue. And those were the Olympic ski pistes for the '94 games.
It's definitely beautiful.
Fourth race weekend of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Into the top 10 with Canada's Cynthia Appia and Leah Walkenden. Leaders currently Great Britain's Adele Nichol and Kia Placide. 1900s advantage after the first heat, and a 5:41 getaway, finding half a tenth there at the start, Cynthia and Leah, and they know that whatever you find at the top is multiplied down the run.
Exactly. That start is definitely going to help with that bottom part of the run, as long as she just keeps it clean.
Yeah, and that's the key here, is to get out of those early corners with all that speed on board. Oh, big skid. 9 into 10. She was 4 tenths up. That's down to just over 3 tenths now, and the speed going away. Only the 4th best sled. She's only the 7th sled on ice. Little clatter there out of 13 as well. Gaps coming down still. I think Adele Nichol might be a little bit hopeful here, but I'm not sure she's going to be in the leader's box for long now. 52.50, quarter of a second slower on that second heat for Cynthia, but she does take the lead. I'm not sure that's going to advance her much up the top 10.
Yeah, a couple taps here and there, but she was able to try to maintain everything that she had from the top.
She has not had a top 10 finish in women's bobsleigh this season. She's just guaranteed herself that at the very worst. So it is her best race result of 4 runs this season. See, early on, there you go, out of 6, out of 7, and then squirreling away down into the labyrinth. And even though this is quite an open, long, cornered labyrinth, those mistakes still catch up with you. And there's a aviating into 14 as well. Well, top 10 for Cynthia Appia, Leah Walkenden, 9 to go as they move into the leaders box. And next up is Ying Qing and Wang Chuang. Wai Ming not here this weekend. Very sadly for her, her mother passed away, and so she understandably is not in much of a state to be competing. Yeah. So Ying Qing and Wang Chuan are here, and Wang would have been normally with Wai on the sled, but with Ying. So our thoughts go to Wai Ming. 5:55 first start. Let's see if they can find a little more. 5:60, it goes the wrong way.
Yeah, she'll have to find some speed to kind of make up for a little bit of that drop time.
Yeah, these early corners, so easy to give speed away. Got to be as smooth as silk. Nice, even run through corner 6. Smoothly onto 7. So look at this, there's the result. Best speed of all, but whoa! Hard onto 9. Then the double pressure corner 10.
Oh, her speed.
Yeah, still doing well, and she's bringing the deficit down. She was 1700ths behind from the start, down to 1200ths. She's going quicker down the track than Cynthia Appia. This could be the lead for Ying Qing, not quite. 52.59, so both she and Cynthia having problems in that second heat, not as quick as their first. Ying Qing slips a spot.
Yeah, you really need that first top half to be as clean as possible and slight mistakes.
Yeah, so logic suggests that when you make mistakes at higher speed, there's more of a problem. But in fact, the lower the speed, the more of your speed you scrub off. And that brutal transition, really, the brakeman and the driver would have felt him whip across the sled. It'll skid into 14, so there'll be lots of airtime. One runner on ice, just the left front runner on ice as the corner starts. All right, so Cynthia Appia, Leah Walkenden still lead for Canada with 8 to go. Next up, once upon a time, i.e. this morning, Katty Bile had the start record here with Jennifer Onasanya. Now with Anna Schenk, they are ready to go for the second run, looking to try and move up a fraction. 1100ths ahead of them. Melanie Hassler in 7th place. So let's see if they can A, hold off Cynthia Appia, and B, improve on the second heat. 5:52 getaway. 200ths at the top. Should be 600ths better at the bottom.
Yes, definitely looking forward to seeing this run and making sure she can keep going off of that momentum from her start.
Oh, big skid. From 4 to 5. Now, she was only the second sled off, so I don't think everybody had quite appreciated the track was a little quicker this morning than they were expecting. Hopefully she's adapted to that, but look, the gap is growing from 400s back to 1800s back. Now she's bringing it back down. This is a Catty Bile driving school. Ooh, just a little heavy again out of 13. Into the green. Now she's just going to try and pull Cynthia as far behind as she can, but she rolls across the line, 52.56. And she's still in the green, leads Cynthia Appia by 100th. The sled comes a long way up. There are two kind of plateaus here, and she's just about getting there here. The other brakemen who are down there and the coaches helping out with the sleds at the bottom, everybody's immediately alerted when there's a crash. Further down in the black jacket, you can see Manny Schulter from the IBSF. And there in the cap as well is Jos Matley, the competition director.
Definitely hope they're okay. There's a lot of snow in that outrun too.
Yeah, well, you can see Catty is out and looking after the sled. And out of the sled too is Anna Schenk.
Definitely shout out to the workers and the coaches down there helping. It's so great whenever you see everyone like just chip in.
So this is 15 into 16, and this is Letting It Fly, the Francesco Friedrich School of Motoring. So just letting it fly late out of the corner, and then the body weight just drags the sled over. Catty's already tucking her head in. She can feel it going, and just like Friedrich, the sled loops around, but unlike Friedrich, didn't come back over the line on its runners. And there's the fans. Look how close you get to the track here. Well, there you go. Catty Bile on the right, Anna Schenk, beg your pardon, on the left-hand side. They are okay. Bianca Ribbian. Well, there's Bianca and Neve, I think, are gone, but there's Cynthia and Leah. Yeah, apologising to her brakewoman for bouncing her on the ice.
Oh, yeah. Same thing, you know, crashes happen, and it's just about how you move forward from them.
Exactly. It's a fact of life. Well, she got across the line and didn't lose a place, so letting it fly. Yeah. Like they always say, if you're going to win ugly, it's still a win.
I know that's right.
Yep, there you go. Well, she came from behind, from nearly 2/10 back to just sneak across the line upside down by 100th. And those grooves don't look too bad, or the marks don't look too bad, so it doesn't look like any remedial work needed on the track. Luckily, it's cold enough here and certainly bitter enough overnight that the ice is pretty deep cold all the way through to the concrete. Chris Woolley just holding the crew of Mel Hassler and Mara Morell. I think they might just 2 minutes. They're given a 2-minute warning for the start, and then 60 seconds before they will get the start clock. So Chris just making sure that the girls know exactly how long they're going to have to wait.
Yes, never want to come out too early while they're patching everything up.
Exactly right. Well, big shout out to the Ice Meister and the crew. Ice Meister and his number 2 have been working on this track since literally the day it opened. Since the very first day it was ever iced, they have been here through thick and thin. And the track crew have produced superb ice all week. All 2 weeks. It's been really the feedback from everybody is how good the ice has been, how smooth the ice has been, and the racing has been exciting. Angia Grecu on the left, Teodora Vlad on the right from Romania, waiting to get onto the truck to go back to the top. So Pierre Luders in the background there, because Brianna Walker is in the queue waiting to go. So everybody has this 5-minute pause.
Love the thumbs up.
Yeah. She is always full of life, Catty Bile. Just a joy to be around. As is, I have to say, as is everybody in this fraternity. We always say they're doing this for the love because there sure ain't no money.
Ooh.
You hear what I'm saying there?
I sure do.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is not a sport you get into, you know, lightly or frivolously. This is not a nice, comfortable summer sport of sprinting where all you have to worry about is maybe a tracksuit and some spikes. There's a lot of heavy lifting and nitty-gritty and cold and grim and when you come somewhere here and it's this stunning, you kind of go, oh yeah, this is why we do this. This is really why we do this.
Definitely the love for the sport.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right. Melanie Hassler and Mara Morell ready to go. Shout out to everybody watching back home who would otherwise maybe be competing. Here we go for Switzerland, 7th after the first heat. Let's see what they can produce in the second. 5:43, equaling their first start.
Definitely staying consistent really matters at the start.
Mel having a pretty decent day yesterday, but didn't find the result she really wanted in the Monobob. Let's see if she can improve on 7th place here. She's only 500s out of the top 6, 800s out of 5th place. So there's a good little battle going on ahead of Katy Bile and Melanie Hassler. She keeps it clean all the way down to the bottom. Could move up here. This is a tidy second run.
Definitely.
Best speed of all at the bottom. No, not quite. Adele Nichols still quicker. And across the line, 52.30. Well, that's 2,300 slower than her first heat. So maybe we're seeing the track not quite as quick as it was in the first runs this morning.
It was definitely a lot more slick this morning. So I wonder how much that temperature is changing throughout the day.
There's quite a lot of humidity. There's a lot of cloud in the air. There might be snow on the way in the next couple of days. But again, driving errors like that really don't help. In motorcycle racing, that would be backing it in. You do that to slow down. Don't want to be doing that in a sled. Nice exit out of 13. That put her nicely onto 14. That's what helped keep the speed alive. So Melanie Hassler has the lead from Katy Bile and Cynthia Appia. 6 to go. First of our 2 US sleds. This is Alana Myers-Taylor and Emily Renner.
Definitely excited for E2, and Alana's been teaching me more sign language as well, so I love that.
Well, that's going to be fun. As she's saying, you know, right now, baby Noah is crawling. She said, God help me when he starts to walk, because then she's got to have 4 eyes and 3 sets of hands. And that's apart from being an athlete. 5:41 first heat, 5th best start. Nice load from Emily in the back seat, gets in 5:42. Right, so their advantage, 600ths of a second over Melanie Hassler. And a year away, having Noah does not seem to have blunted Alana's driving skills one iota.
And definitely give my, credits and everything to Alana for even just being back out here with both boys.
Yeah, absolutely. 6th best speed, but still hanging on to that slender advantage. Now the speed comes, all those smooth exits, little rattle off 13. She's just going to start to creep away from Melanie Hassler to the line. Should be into double digits. No, it's not. 52.34, just 100th in front. Again, it's not the advantage you might have hoped for, but you're still 1 finger up from Tuffy when you come into the finish area. That's what you want to see.
Oh, yeah.
Still holding your position. The leader with 5 to go.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Again, like almost everybody else, she's getting backed in there.
Yeah.
And that's pretty tough. The corner suddenly just, whoomp, lots of pressure.
Yeah.
And
you can definitely feel that pressure in the back, too.
And of course, the sled's being ground down into the ice by gravity, and that takes speed out. Yeah, all right. Well, her first race of the season was her best so far with a bronze medal, but she's at least top 6 here in a track she's never raced before. Brianna Walker has. She's had plenty of experience and decent results on this track as well. 2 wins here in Monobob in Europa Cup back in 2018. She raced in 2019 as well with Mono and Women's Bob. And she took a silver medal here yesterday. Pierre Luder's shouting them off. That's going to make you start in a hurry. 5:43. So again, the start record, I think, is not going to go in this second heat. Everybody starting just a whisker slower, pretty much.
Showing just that time, but still maintain that speed.
0.03 of a second. Don't forget, Alana and Melanie Hassler are only 1/100th apart. You're basically going to beat both of them or beat neither of them. The chances of coming up on green with a dead heat are pretty slim. 1:21.5, best speed from Brianna Walker. She's looking ahead of her. She's 1,500s, 1,600s out of the medals. It is possibly achievable. Across the line, 2,200s up. That lower part of the track really gave her speed. There's Pierre Luder's big smile from Pierre. 52.15.
She definitely has so much knowledge and background, and especially being here, it just shows of what she can do and what she knows what to do.
That's nearly 0.2 of a second quicker than anybody has come down so far in this second heat. That's a real opportunity seized there for Brianna Walker. Kira Dingis at the back, digging in deep. Kira started driving as well, so the Aussies are definitely trying to create a bigger program behind the tip of this iceberg.
That was a really nice idea.
Yeah. Look how straight she comes, and she's in the middle of the track as well, not too far to the left coming into 14. Nice stuff. All right, yeah. I'll help you with the helmet.
Make sure that thing all tight.
Mom. All right, 4 to go. Here is our reigning women's bobsleigh Olympic champion and the 2016 Youth Olympic champion on this track. So Lara Nolte with plenty to prove. 100th out of the medals. Nolte this season, gold, bronze, gold. 5:34, another strong start. They find that extra 100th that they might need.
Yeah, it's always going to need that extra 100 just to add on to that, what you can do in the downtime.
3,500s over Brianna Walker. She's not looking behind her. She is targeting medals here. Last time Lara Nolte raced on this track, she came away with Youth Olympic gold. She wants to do the same again.
That is so crazy, from Youth Olympic gold and then coming back.
Oh, big skid. Yeah, I know. Well, our winner in the women's skeleton had Youth Olympic silver behind Ashley Pittaway, and so she was so thrilled to get a gold here. 51.98, that's a big run. Again, not as quick as her first, and 0.3 slower than the fastest run of the competition, but that felt good. Look how happy they look at the bottom. And there's always an indicator from the driver and the brake athlete how well it felt.
Definitely. Especially just going up in that hour in.
Yeah. So Lara Nolte, Naylor Skirton finding a little bit more at the start, and then Lara, just that one uncomfortable flop in 10, and then out of 13. So early on to 13, little late off. You saw her steering hard there, midway through the corner. Just flopping off.
Yeah, a little scared.
All right, so sending love back home. Is that enough to get them a medal here? Well, yeah, I tell you, it's a pretty tough top 3 to crack. Lisa Buchwitz, Keisha Love, Kim Kalicki. Nobody gives anything away in this field. Lisa with Vanessa Mark behind her. And Lisa Buchwitz, World Championship silver medalist. 6th in the season opener in La Plan, then gold and silver in Innsbruck and St. 5:34 ties their teammates at the start, which means their advantage is 1 single 100th. And now that's gone, they are level. Is she going to be in the red at the next clock? No, still tied. This is going to be close. We haven't had a tie for the medals yet. We might be getting one here. Little skid. Now, if she's clean at the bottom, she can still find better speed out of 10 and 11. Not tidy. It's going away from Lisa Buchwitz. I think this is going to cost her a medal, potentially. 1700's back, not speed enough to come back from that. She's behind at the line in second place, just ahead of Bjarne Walker. But Lauren Alter and Nelly Skuten are in the leaders box.
Oh yeah, staying that competitive, especially with your other teammates, it's definitely, you know, a fire that lights under you just to keep that iron and turning iron.
Well, this is a relatively simple track to drive, but that means the devil is in the detail. And when there are tiny details, this little late flop, back runner pressure puts her into a skid. And again, coming down here, big skid, gets bumped away. That puts her late into 13. Late off 13, and a skid down to 14 as well. Well, that's definitely a run she would like to be able to have again. Well, there you go. Lisa Buchwitz, Vanessa Mark in second place ahead of Bjarne Walker. That's your top three with Lauren Alter leading. 2 to go. Gold medal yesterday in women's monobob for Keisha Love with Azaria Hill behind her. Can lightning strike twice? 400s is the gap from the lead.
Oh yeah, definitely looking towards Team Love.
They have a 10th in 1100s in hand over Lauren Alter. 5:35, second fastest start in competition. 5:32 start record. Are you kidding me? Everybody has gone slower at the start in this second heat. Not Keisha Love and Azaria Hill.
Ooh, just gave me some goosebumps.
Good. 1100ths of a second up. Nothing comes easy in this sport. This is Keisha going for gold. And this is a nice, smooth run. Only 7th best speed, but the advantage is there. 800 still. 400s. Needs to be tidy at the bottom. Speed is back. Little rattle there. Oh, drifting down into 14. It's going to be very close at the bottom. Not sure if she's going to hold on. Lauren Alter may be the leader. She is the leader. 52.13. Still a really good run. But Lauren Alter and Nell Skuten lead from Keisha Love, Azaria Hill, Lisa Buchwitz and Vanessa Mark. 1 to go. Keisha and Azaria are in the medals.
Oh yeah, definitely with the start record.
You know what happened there, right? What happened just there? Why did Azaria suddenly get excited?
Tuffy
said 32. Yeah.
It's always exciting whenever you can just add on to that, because the pilots, you know, they drive it as a brakeman. Our job is the start.
Yep. Oh, a couple of skids and a little early on there. Again, a little early on, just squirreling away under her, the sled. Well, the validity of having an extra training week here really showed yesterday with gold, and she's going to end up with at least a bronze, potentially a silver here still as well. And that's you know, a fantastic weekend for Keisha Love and Azaria Hill. Well, what about Kim Kalicki and Leonie Fiebig? Started 5:36 in the first heat. If they can do that again, then somebody in the physio department needs a gold medal as well, because they're keeping Kim Kalicki alive. 5:33! She was hobbling away from the sled after the first heat.
Yeah, definitely put all that effort into that start and into this drive as well.
Wow. Kim Kalicki and Leonie Fiebig, world champions, versus the Olympic champion Lauren Alter and the youth Olympic champion on this track. This is a clash of titans. Best speed for Kalicki. She's doing everything right now, hitting all the marks perfectly. Still got the best speed, 1900s up. There's the first big error, a long drift, but she's got enough in the bank. This is going to be Kim Kalicki taking gold. She does with a 51.94. That was an absolutely top draw effort. Kim Kalicki and Leonie Fiebig, their run of 17 straight podiums ended in St. Moritz. And now they start again with gold.
Definitely excited for Kalicki, especially with how she's been feeling. And just happy to see that that does not affect her driving at all.
Absolutely. My God, is absolutely right. And look, you can still see the pain on her face, look, Kim. She does not look comfortable in the slightest. Just got to really put it out to her. Just what a performance. To push a start like that, quicker than their first. We saw her limping away after the first heat. And Jasmine Jones, as a push athlete, you know where you have to go. You can go deep into the hurt locker for things like that.
Exactly. Definitely got to dig deep and just push it out.
And she drove really well too. I don't know how much that injured calf was screaming at her down the track, but she just ignored it and blocked it out. Kim Kalicki wins from Lauren Alter and Keisha Love. Lisa Buchwitz fourth from Brianna Walker and Alana Myers-Taylor. And then Melanie Hassler, Katty Biles, Cynthia Appia, and Ying Qing of China rounding out the top 10. Adele Nicol, World Cup debut as a driver in women's bob. Therefore, 11th place is now her World Cup best result in women's bob. And for Nikki McSweeney, 14th place. She was 13th in Innsbruck, so she didn't quite match her World Cup PB. Now there's Leonie Löwenherzen, Leonie Lionheart is her social media handle. The girl who always wears red and white socks because of her love for the carnival in her home city of Cologne. And Kim Kalicki, huge kudos. They found more even at the start than in the first push. And a great drive from Kalicki to put real clear air between herself and the youth Olympic champion on this track, the reigning Olympic champion Lauren Alter. We had a German sweep of the podium in the men's two-man. We did not get a sweep here because Keisha Love taking the bronze. She'll be very pleased with that, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. She's definitely been exceeding in this debut pilot season.
Yeah. Getting a quick word for the sponsors. Well, that is it then for the women's competition. Remaining is the four-man this afternoon. Lauren Alter leads the World Cup rankings narrowly from Kim Kalicki, who's just crept ahead of Lisa Buchwitz, with Mel Hassler, Keisha Love and Brianna Walker in a real arm wrestling match. Keisha and Brie tied on points, a smidge ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor. That's an official non-metric measurement there. And rounding out the top 10 in the points, Andrea Grecu, as Cynthia Appia and Bianca Ribbi jostle for position just outside the 10. Well, they'll be back in action, as everybody will, in Sigulda in Latvia next week. So not too far a journey here from our most northerly stop on the calendar here in Norway. And my thanks to Jasmine Jones for talking us through this women's race. Great to have her in the booth. And don't forget, we'll be joined by Adele Nicol for the four-man bobsleigh. That starts at 1300 local, 12 GMT midday, 0700 East. Until then, from all of us here in the IBSF TV crew in Lillehammer, we'll see you then. Bye for now.
Der erste noch mit der Messe war und auch andersrum, Willem.
Goed gemacht.
Mogen we zum Michael.
Danke.
Yeah, we ran at the same university. Yeah, we did the 4x1 together.